3 local case studies from PepsiCo. We hear a lot about global case studies, for example, whether it's Apple or it's Walmart or it's Nike. But just because there isn't enough work written about the local brands that we have, not enough gets said. And what I'm sharing with you today are some of the local case studies that we have in PepsiCo that have been exported out as best practices for us. So first of all, why change? If you don't change with times, you may find yourself in a museum. And that is really the core of the belief that we have within PepsiCo. I'm sure you've spent a lot of time through the last couple of days debating this. But if we have a firm belief, that is, with the changing times, trends are moving a lot faster, habits are evolving. And as organizations and as brands, if we don't evolve, and if we don't take the lead evolving, we'll be left way behind in the game. Good enough for the museum, but unfortunately not for the marketplace. The first case study that I will share with you is about creating differentiation. Let me take a minute to set out the landscape for Pakistan beverages as it stood right before we brought this brand in Pakistan to life. 1960s is when carbonated beverages were born in Pakistan, and for a good 40 years, our consumers were used to 3 different kinds of tastes. A cola, what is called an orange carbonated beverage that comes as a Mirinda or Fanta, and then a lemon lime, which came in the shape of a 7-Up or Sprite. And consumers knew nothing else, because this is going back to those times when bottled water did not exist, when juices were not there. It really was about traveling into interior Pakistan, and जब प्यास लगती थी, तो हम कहते थे कि Pepsi की एक बोतल चाहिए. And that is when we launched this brand called Mountain Dew. What was so different about it? It was a unique product. It had a lot more caffeine than other beverages. It came with a unique color. It wasn't the black that consumers were used to, or the orange or the white. It came very, very distinct. It came in a unique packaging. Up until then, the beverages were all in very similar shaped bottles. But Mountain Dew came in what we call a beer-shaped bottle. So when you went out to the supermarket or the grocery store and you picked this up, it shouted out to you from the shelf. It came with golden can ends or golden closures, whereas what the consumers had only seen so far were basic white or blue or black. It came with a very unique positioning and advertising. None like any other brand in Pakistan. A lot of our brands were either very patriotic or drove very high on the emotive meter. Let me just play for you an example of the excitement and the exhilaration and the unique space that Mountain Dew was all about. I'm sorry, I'm not getting sound. It's okay. We'll just, I think we'll just carry on in the interest of time, if it's not connected. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to imagine a lot of action with music and very high speed, but I think the idea of, sorry? I think the idea was to be in a truly unique space which was not owned by any other brand, and it was about adventures. It called out to men. It was about daring. It was about anti-establishment, about breaking the rules. So again, very, very differentiated from any other beverage brand on the shelf, and for that matter, for any brand on shelf. Very, very clutter-breaking IMCs. Dew's motto was doing everything new for the first time around. So not repeating what any brand had done before, just to be true to the differentiation. Extremely creative in-store and out of home, just to shout out something that other brands had not done before. Then going the consumer engagement route through movie sponsorships. Again, cinemas are a very sort of a 3-4-year-old trend in Pakistan. So Dew was the first brand to really move into that space and try and own it. And then, of course, truly doing it with huge and massive activations. I don't know if some of you were a part of this in Karachi, but we really brought action sports to life at its best. So why am I calling Dew a case study for Pakistan? I'm going to share a little secret with you today, and that secret is that Pakistan's biggest beverage, liquid refreshment beverage or carbonated beverage, or a ready-to-drink beverage on the shelf is not brand Pepsi. It's not brand Coke. It's actually a brand called Mountain Dew. In a mere span of 10 years, this brand has broken every single rule that you can possibly imagine. It has done every single thing new in the beverages category and in the carbonated beverages category that you can imagine. It is also not only Pakistan's biggest carbonated beverage, it is PepsiCo Inc.'s biggest Dew market outside of the US. We have people coming to Pakistan. We have this case study being exported because other markets in PepsiCo want to know how we in Pakistan have brought this to life. From here, I'm going to move on. And the second example that I'm going to share with you, again, does involve differentiation, which is so key when you're trying to change the game. But this one is really pinned around the fact, how do you redefine a category? So your one option is, when you go launch a new innovation, is to follow the suit that the market leader is doing. In this particular case, we decided to break the game. We said we're going to do just about everything that our competitors were not doing. This was a first for us. We did not have this category before. And we went into it with a brand called Sting. This is an energy drink. And remember that the objective that we set out for ourselves was really that we're going to do it differently. We're going to break the norm, and we're going to go out there and redefine what the energy category is all about. Number one, energy drinks come in a yellow color. So we came in with a red. Number two, energy drinks are not about taste. It's definitely, for those who have energy drinks, it's about the caffeine that is inside the product. It's not about the taste. So what did we do? We brought about just about the best tasting energy drink that there was on shelf. Thirdly, we had innovative packaging. The norm for the energy drinks was a can. We did cans, yes, but we also went into glass bottles. Third, it was a rich man's drink, and it was a unique product. We took it to the masses. We broke the norms. We went in with our glass package, and we said that we will make it available to everybody and anybody for the first time when they wanted to have an energy drink. And of course, it was accompanied by clutter-breaking communication that stood out and lived up to the brand values. And we continue to do so today. And again, why am I sharing this with you? Because this is a brand that for us may not be as big as Dew, but it is the biggest success since then. This is another case for PepsiCo of a best practice that is currently getting exported out. We don't have to, at times, always look to the Western markets. I think there are brands and our own innovations within Pakistan that are living examples. At times, we don't realize how much is really happening around us. So those are two innovations that I've shared with you, and from there, I'm going to move into a slightly different space, which is not about a new brand per se, but a new opportunity, a media opportunity that came up, and we asked ourselves, okay, how do we change the game with this one? So in Pakistan, for the longest time, TV really has been that one medium around which everything has oscillated. And yes, the media landscape has changed. Other mediums have come in, but today, if you speak to any marketer and you want to aim for reach, TV is still that basic route to go. It certainly will be a part of any base media plan. Within the TV landscape, obviously, things have been evolving. And whereas at one time it used to be about just making ads, there is a lot of different creative elements that have come into play of late. One of those is sponsorships. It's sponsorships of international programs, and it's sponsorships of local programs. The way that sponsorships work is, You normally take a lead or a secondary sponsorship, and right before you get into a program, your company's name on your brand name will get announced, and at break time, your brand names will get announced. With this one, we asked ourselves, how do we really own it? How do we take this big idea and take it just beyond the sponsorship? And this is a program that was called Pakistan Idol, which has ended fairly recently, and some of you may be familiar with the program. So what did we do? I think the first thing that we did after we signed up for this particular property, and it wasn't just PepsiCo that was sponsoring it. There were multiple sponsors for this program. We came up with a very simple, clutter-breaking TV campaign, and I'm sorry about the music, but you're just going to have to do with the visuals. So something very quick, and yet something very bold. Why bold? Because we are in the business of selling a brand. We don't put another brand's name on our bottle. And yet you just saw that we did that. But within days, we had ownership. We had people calling us up and asking about the Pepsi Idol. It was never Pepsi Idol, it was Pakistan Idol. And then perhaps you saw some of these visuals that went up. And then it was about not just that little TVC we did, but it was about owning it, whether it was through the program, or it was about in the streets, or it was about in the shops. So there were a lot of program integrations that we did, from putting our brand right in front of the judges when this program was aired, to putting the name of this property on the millions of bottles of Pepsi that we sold. I think we took it to another level where even Fremantle, the property owner, wanted this best practice out of Pakistan because no brand had done this before. I'm just going to share another TVC with you, with which we continued our ownership. And perhaps some of you have seen this. I have to make up a little bit for not having the music in the background. But this one was really about linking the brand Pepsi's heritage in music to this particular property and showing it as an ongoing journey. And then we celebrated the ownership, whether it was about on-ground activations and taking the fact that Pepsi and Pakistan Idol were one through activations on the local levels or to out-of-homes or in-store, or through engaging consumers as they walked into the stores to buy their bottles of Pepsi. We did it. We even rolled out programs called University Stars that replicated this model from a big ATL level to an on-ground level to give thousands more the opportunity to become the stars that they did not get through Pakistan Idol. And of course, there was that entire element of content integration, even on the side programs. We created a huge Pepsi Blue Room, and we integrated our brands by making a lot of old Pepsi songs come on live that a lot of our consumers had been used to seeing in our ads through the last 15 years. So all in all, it was about a complete 360. It was about taking this sponsorship from a basic bare minimum level of just our name being announced to a property that we could single-handedly own, even though we were one of the sponsors. And I think that today really represents how, as brand owners, we can take something that's very basic and blow it up to a much larger scale. So some parting words from me on that note. If you don't change the direction, you may end up where you're heading. A Chinese philosopher once said that, and I think that's something that's truly something worth pondering for all of us. Like I said at the start, it is a rapidly changing world. In the world that I was born in, there were no computers in our school. When I first went to work, there was no mobile phone that I had. And I think the consumers that we deal with today, the attention span is minutes, not even hours, let alone days or years. And in that, what you really want to do, bottom line, is lead from the front. What does that mean? You don't want your competitors to be the ones to define the rules for you. You don't want your competitors to be the ones to bring about the change. You don't want to be the one who's trying to come down this mountain, struggling to survive right at the tail end. You want to be the one who differentiates. You want to be the one who takes the bold decisions. You want to be the one who questions the norm. And you want to ask, how can I take this to the absolute nth level in a way that it has absolutely never been done before? So thank you very much. Thank you for your attention and your time.
Thank you, Ms. Maliha, for those wonderful words. It has been truly an honor to learn from such accomplished and diversified tutelage that these personalities have brought to the IBA ICM 2014. IBA is truly grateful for having you all here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your presence here at the ICM. It has been an astounding experience so far, and you've been an amazing audience. I would now like to call upon a person who is at the helm of IBA's marketing department. She's been associated with IBA for the past 22 years. Her immense contribution can never be quantified in mere words. Please put your hands together for Dr. Huma Amir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Now we are all coming towards the end of our conference. It has been a very interesting and informative past 2 days, and I think we have learned a lot. The theme of the conference itself was changing marketing paradigms, and I think for the past 2 days we have been discussing just that. In fact, we started off, and in the very first session we had the keynote by Dr. Hartmut, who told us that he gave us the ingredients for changing a market-driving organization into a market-driving organization into a market-driven one, right? And then we talked about, we had our panel discussions where we actually took up the topic on what is this new generation all about and how to market to the millennial. And it actually started off by saying that this millennial generation is, to repeat the words of Kashif, narcissists. He said they're self-centered and they don't care a hoot about others, in other words. But then we had a contradiction to that, and we were told that they are very sure of themselves, very confident, very liberal in their thoughts, and very outspoken too. So if you mix up the two, you find that there is this audience that is very demanding in terms of the fact that they know what everything is all about, and if you do anything wrong to them, then it's out there and everybody else knows about it too. So those were the challenges they discussed, and on day 2, the second panel also took this a little further, and they talked about how to market in real time. That means what to do. These new millennial generation, they are interacting on various, let's say, on monitors. This is a multi-monitor generation. They have got their mobile phones, etc. So what to do? And they continue to talk about whether there is a paradigm shift in marketing. So do you really think there is a paradigm shift here? Or did we conclude at the end of this conference that marketing thought has become what, let's say, Gronrus says as relationship marketing only, where we may actually, and if you're talking about a paradigm shift, you're basically talking about coming up with a new way of doing things because the old one has become redundant and doesn't work anymore. So did we conclude by the end of this conference that the 4Ps model doesn't work, that the marketing mix is out, and all we are doing right now is just relationship marketing where we design everything around the customer needs? Or did we say something like, for example, no more of the old traditional multimedia channels. We do not require television anymore. We do not require billboards because now we've got a new way of reaching out to the millennial. We did not really do that as yet. We said that we are in the process where we have got new technology, we mix it up with the traditional, and we come up with very nice new models. So at the end of it all, we also said that there is not a paradigm shift really, but an evolution of marketing paradigm. And this remains to be a debate that is not ending here. It's going to continue. And it is just touching upon the topic and not really concluding it right now. So thank you all so very much for being here and for giving us all this information. And thank you all students for listening to us. And I do hope that you have learned a lot from what happened over here. And we might actually ask you some questions in your exams to see whether you learned anything or not. Just kidding. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to invite our keynote speakers up here. Maybe have, let's start from Roma. Roma Bilwani, would you please come on the stage? Dr. Javed Ghani. Dr. Hartmut also. Dr. Hartmut. Aziz Jindani, Mr. Aziz Jindani. Ms. Maliha. मैंने बोला मलिहा सुभानी. Kashif Afandi. No more speaking by you. No, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't be threatened. Okay. Now, what we're doing is we're going to invite all our volunteers, helpers, all the people, the management team, the conference manager, the entire management team, the organizing team, everybody on stage. We're going to take a photograph with our guests. Ji? Pehle upar to aajo. Come. Everybody please, even the MOCs, we will take a snap with all our guests. Is the entire team here? The entire management team of IBA-ICM 2014. Please come on the stage. She's part of the management team. बेटा आप लोग नीचे जाओ तो बैठ जाओ है ना जी आप लोग आ जाओ ना Ramsha oh she's right here Yasmin Adnan Saima is here Nida Fatma Farah मेरे आगे I'm a taller person, maybe. Saima?
Am I not covering
It's okay, he'll just take a sweeping thing. I don't know what he'll do, but he'll do something. आ गया जो बेटा तुम नजर नहीं आ रहे मैं तुम्हारे सामने से हट गई नो वे वो उधर खड़ा है बिल्कुल भी नहीं हो Okay, everyone please stay on stage. Don't leave, okay? Someone is leaving. Stay on stage. If you could stay on stage and stand behind the chairs, all of you. Thank you so much. We are going to distribute certificates to our students, and we would request our keynote speakers to please distribute them. Okay, change of plan.
Dr. Huma will present plaques to all our guests.
Receive a token of thanks for our side.
Who's next? Who's next?
We have Ms. Roma. Ms. Roma, we'd like to request you to please come ahead. Mr. Aziz Jindani.
Stand properly in the picture.
Ms. Maliha, please, we'd request you to come ahead and accept the token of appreciation from our side. Thank you so much, Dr. Homa. Next, we'd like to request Ms. Jasmine to please present the certificates to our management team. Mr. Shahzeb Sher. Mr. Ali Arshad. Rishi Kumar. Mohammad Hassan Anwar. Naushirwan Khan. Mohammad Adil. Shujaat Ali. Mohammad Danial. Mubashir Khan. Gulrez Haider. Waqar Naqvi. Sayyid Sifte. Ali Abbas Soni. Inam Nabi. Mohammad Sirajur Rahman. Mohammad Ruhail Khan. Priya Bhujwani. Hassan Ashraf. Haris Parvez. Saad Ahmad Qazi. Narinder Kumar. Mohammad Maaz. Ans Ahmed. Anas, sorry for the misspelled name. Shujauddin. Salahuddin, Osama Habibi, Mehreen Siddiqui, Abdul Muqeet,
किसी को भी पकड़ा दो बोलो दाऊद
Ubaid Nasir,
ओके एंड रमला
किसका है बताओ, किसका है, कौन सा वाले, किसका है तुम्हारे पास, किसका
रमला विल कंटिन्यू यू अलाउ रमला टू कंटिन्यू ये सर दानिश का रमला आगे जल्दी से
Next, we have the two conference managers. Ramsha, please come on stage and accept the token of appreciation from our side. And Daud, please come ahead.
रमला do we now have Dr. Humas
Ms. Yasmin, we'd request you to please give the token of appreciation to Dr. Huma. Dr. Huma. And to our faculty, Mr. Adnan Hussain. Our beloved Ms. Saima Hussain. Dr. Huma, we'd like you to please present a token of appreciation to Ms. Yasmin Zafar.
Well, it wasn't meant to be like this. I don't know what happened, but we would also like to say a few words before we present this to you. There's a lot of grievances here that we want to share with you. Okay, so this is a special shield that we have for the key person behind the success of this conference. Why are you sitting down, Miss Yasmin? You're supposed to listen to all this. Miss Yasmin, we present you this shield. And first of all, before I do that, I do want all my faculty up here. So if you could please, all of you come up, whoever is left here, all the faculty is, I think just the three of us right now. Or do we have Saeed Saab, Javed Mahmood Saab, Samir? Do we have any other faculty member from marketing faculty? Mr. Ijaz Mian, kahan chale gaye? Okay, he just left, abhi bhi gaye. So, we present you this shield to show you our appreciation for all the hard work, dedication, and I wrote it down because I didn't want to skip anything, and perseverance you have shown us in making this conference a huge, huge success. You took the responsibility, took ownership, and saw it through, overcoming the setbacks and giving us contingency plans as we went along. So, Ms. Yasmin, it's because of you that we've managed to have it the way that it has happened. It would have happened, but the way that it has happened, it's all because of you. Thank you so very, very much. There is one more, no? Thank you all so very much. And now we come to the end of our conference. Thank you so much. I think there is some high tea there, but I'm not so sure, so I don't want to announce it. Please.
You can announce it.
Okay, yes, there is high tea there.
At the back of
I've got, yes, I've got Hassan telling me.
Pledge for 2016.
We had the pledge for 2016. If you, I also want to tell you that the next conference will happen in December 2016. And we are thinking in lines of the new concepts that we have discussed this time. So basically, we will be talking about the digital era, the new millennial, and we will be talking about contemporary marketing as well. We have a form, the pledge for IBA ICM 2016. Would you be so kind as to fill this form for us before you leave? Thank you so very much. Allah Hafiz.
I can get started. Okay, this was my first visit to Pakistan and my first conference in the region, and I really enjoyed it. What I absolutely experienced here was this interesting combination of the view of practitioners as well as academics. This is a very unusual, at least from my perspective, unusual concept for a conference, but it really pays out because it enriches the practitioners on the one side as well as the academics, the scholars of marketing on the other side. I also want to point out that the hospitality was beyond expectations, and I also have to state that the organization was very well done, and it was a really enjoyable conference, and I definitely plan to come back to the next conference at ABI. Okay.
Thank you.
It was a great experience. ये तो loudspeaker पे चल रहा है.
ये मिक्सर में इधर से जाएगा बेसिकली.
अच्छा sorry, दोबारा हो सकता है. शुरू. It was an absolutely wonderful experience to be a part of this conference at IBA. Very, very well organized. I think the audience and the students who were attending a very engaged one. And above all, the best part was that some very great speakers that I've seen here today. I think we need to have more of these events at educational institutions in Pakistan to give the student bodies a good opportunity to experience and hear from a diverse number of speakers from across Pakistan. So I think an absolutely excellent job.
It's been a wonderful experience coming here to IBA for their International Marketing Conference. I had the pleasure of attending the panel discussion on new media, and I heard the other keynote speakers, and I think this platform is very essential for creating this connect with corporates, with the academia, and the students. I think students get a flavor of experience. They know that what they're being taught is being practiced, and in today's complex situation, they learn new things, which are, in a way, experiences from us that they would use when they become future marketers. And I must wish IBA all the very best to continue this kind of events which really give us a platform and also give the students a platform to learn more. And it's very enriching for both, all of us together, to really create a new marketing paradigm. Thank you very much for having me here.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Javed Ghani. I'm a professor at the Karachi School of Business and Leadership, and previously was Dean and Professor at LUMS. I'd like to commend the organizers for this excellent conference. I was here for all 2 days. I think the panel discussions were certainly very valuable. I learned a lot. I think the selection of topics, particularly marketing to the youth, the whole important role of social media, and how social media can be utilized for marketing purposes, best practices. The papers themselves are very valuable. I think a lot of young researchers from across the country came. I myself learned a lot and really thank the organizers. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, it was wonderful being at this marketing conference organized by IBA, and I'm humbled and thankful to them for having me as one of the moderators for a panel discussion. I think the general quality of papers presented and the presentations from corporate were very, very enlightening. I was particularly impressed with Dr. Ghani's paper on middle class, and there was a gentleman from Germany as well. I think the audience participation was also resounding. And overall, I think this conference was a great success in bringing the academia and the practicing professionals together. And I think in one of the suggestions I heard one of the eminent speakers from abroad said that perhaps a panel discussion of the academia with marketing professionals or practicing professionals could have been also organized, and it would have been a great addition in bridging the two sort of worlds together. So hats off to IBA and the organizers and the convener, Ms. Yasmin Zafar, for organizing such a wonderful conference, and I wish them all the best for the upcoming ones. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Akbar Motiwala, one of the attendees here at the ICM at IBA here. It was a wonderful conference, very, very eye-opening. The keynote speakers today especially were really, they really knew what they were talking about, and I'm really glad I came. I would recommend it to anybody. And the next one's happening in December 2016, and I'll definitely be coming by. Thank you.
My name is Heather. I'm a local business owner. I really enjoyed this convention because the keynote speakers were very interesting. What they presented was very succinct and to the point. And some of the topics they covered were very relevant to the marketplace in Pakistan. Overall, I'd recommend this conference and the next edition, which I think is in 2016. Yeah.
Okay. Nayara, tell us about your experience. How was it? You won the Best Paper Award in one of the parallel sessions. So tell us maybe a little about your paper and your entire experience at IBA.
Well, my experience at the conference was really very good. I had a lot of expectations with regard to the conference, and I must say they were superseded. I was truly one of the recipients of customer delight, so thank you very much for that. My own paper was on the track of brand management, and since it is about shifting market paradigms, I chose to focus on a segment that normally does not come much in the limelight for marketeers, which is the BOP segment. And I made a case for rebranding, or at least rethinking our brand perceptions towards the segment, particularly from females in the segment.
All right, Nayara, thank you so much for having.